Tesla has been talking about the Roadster for years now. I love the design of the Tesla Roadster. It looks amazing. Apparently it's going to be able to do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 1 second using cold air thrusters, along with insane amount of power from 3 motors. But you know what? We still haven't seen a Roadster yet. It still isn't available for sale, but this is. Yes, you can only buy it in China, but in theory you could buy it in China and ship it to wherever the hell you want to ship it to. I mean, why not? This is the most affordable, legitimate hypercar in the world. It's basically the rematch Navira, but instead of costing $7 million, it costs $170,000. And it is unreal. BYD's new electric supercar, or hypercar. It's fantastic, but this, in my opinion, is better. And it's a lot lighter. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans, you're watching the Electric Viking. This is really the first electric hypercar that the average person could potentially afford. Now I know the average person's probably not going to want to go and pay $170,000 for a supercar, but they possibly could, right? If you went to your bank and you said, you know what bank, I want to get a loan, I want to buy this car. A lot of people, most people, probably half the population could do this. Yeah? Get a loan for a car. Be crazy, but you could. It's about as crazy as this car is. This thing would scare the pants off anyone. It'll do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 1.7 seconds. And you know what? I don't think they're lying. The reason I say this, the company that manufacture this EV are called Aion. Aion, they make incredibly impressive performance electric cars and just affordable electric cars in China. In fact, they sell around, many months of the year, they sell around 50,000 EVs per month. And they make their own batteries. This is a very, very impressive car company. Now, the new GAC Aion Hyper SSR has 1,224 horsepower. So it's got about 200 more horsepower than a Tesla Model S Plaid, but it's smaller than a Tesla Model S Plaid. Significantly smaller and significantly lighter as well. GAC have officially announced this vehicle in China. The starting price is $176,000. Sounds expensive, but considering the performance on offer, I think it's actually a bit of a bargain. Especially when you compare it, when you look at it, it's actually fairly similar in terms of performance to the rematch Navira, which, like I said, costs $7 million. Now there's 3 different models, but all of them use the same battery pack. It's a 75 kilowatt hour battery pack, and it uses a ternary battery. That battery has a nickel, manganese, cobalt chemistry, and it gives the vehicle a range of just over 500 kilometers, 506. You're probably thinking, why is the range so short? I mean, that's the CLTC cycle. It's a pretty small vehicle. It's only 4.5 meters long, but with this kind of power, I mean, it's almost impossible not to go fast, and I think that that's factored in here to the range. So anyway, how big is it? 4,556 millimeters long, 1,988 millimeters wide, and 1,230 millimeters tall. It's not very tall, obviously. Makes sense. It's a supercar. But this means it is, well, a lot smaller than BYD's supercar. BYD's supercar, by the way, is a fair bit more expensive than this. It's got about the same power, but it's exceptionally heavy. It's over 2,500 kilograms, meaning it's about 5,750 pounds. This is a little different. Now, they've used carbon fiber, guys, to try and reduce the weight. They've also put a relatively smallish battery pack in, 74.7 kilowatt hour pack, and that should help to keep the weight down, along with the size being a little smaller. Now, there is an entry-level version, so I've got to admit, it's not $174,000 for the super high power version. The entry-level version is a little slower. It does 0 to 62 miles an hour, or 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 2.3 seconds. So you do have to pay about an extra $16,000 to get the full power vehicle. Now, the Hyper SSR has the 3 trim levels, which I mentioned before. The entry-level model costs $176,000. The second trim level, the medium spec level, that one costs $190,000. That gives you the full power. And the top spec level, that's called the Ultimate Track version, or the SSR Ultimate Track version. Its price is $231,000. Now, I believe that model has more carbon fiber. It has racing suspension. It's literally designed to go on racetracks and, this would be funny, right? Imagine using one of these to race an internal combustion vehicle. It wouldn't stand a chance. I mean, this thing is so incredibly fast. Now, when you look on the inside, it looks, to me, really, really nice. Much better than cars like McLaren. Yeah, McLaren supercars, they look nice, but this to me looks much, much nicer than the interior of some other supercars. It's got a 14.6-inch touchscreen in the middle of the car. It's got a small 8.9-inch LCD instrument cluster behind that steering wheel, which looks kind of squarish, but it looks really, really luxurious. And, I really like the interior of this. I think they've done a fantastic job. Now, one of the things the vehicle has is carbon fiber rotors. It has massive carbon ceramic brake calipers. So, yeah, it can go really fast. You're probably wondering, how do I stop? Well, that's how you're going to stop. Those huge carbon fiber rotors with massive red brake calipers, those hide carbon ceramic calipers. But the standard model doesn't get the carbon ceramic brakes. It's the more expensive models that do. Yeah, that's something you probably want to consider if you're going to go this fast in a car, because it would be very scary. I think it would be scary to be able to go this quick. It has 220 pounds of downforce from the air on the car. Not a whole lot of downforce considering the power. That's one thing that is, I believe, going to be changed with the race version. The race version will have a big wing on it to provide more downforce for getting around corners and not killing yourself, essentially. Now, getting back to that horsepower figure, 1,224 horsepower. That's the power this thing puts out. It also has 907 pound-feet of torque. So that's 1,230 newton meters of torque. But speaking of talking, guys, I mean, I'm sure I've done enough now. The car speaks for itself. As you can see, I would love one of these. To me, I look at Ferraris now, I look at McLarens, I look at Lamborghinis, and honestly, this is more appealing to me. It's more subtle, it's got more power. It's not screaming at you saying, hey, look how fast I am. Look at my big wings. It's just subtle. It arrives silently. And then there's really nothing else in the performance car world that would beat this vehicle in a drag race. And I know a lot of people say, supercars are all about drag racing, but I'm sorry, they are. I mean, look at YouTube. How many races do you see on YouTube with people just, racing their supercars around a track? It's very rare. How many drag races do you see? That's pretty much all everyone does. That's what the fun of having a car is. Do a drag race, it's relatively safe, it's easy to do. Well, it's easy in one of these. That's the big advantage of an electric supercar. It's very difficult with an internal combustion engine supercar to get that performance out of the car every time. You've got to put it in drag mode, you've got to hope you've got enough traction in the tires, warm them up, you've got to get everything lined up correctly. But in an electric car, you can go very, very fast without being a professional race driver or pressing 27 different buttons and holding the brake down at the same time. Thanks for watching.